Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Uh, yeah, I'm Zeus. Sorry, I'm Zeus56, joined by Val. You're watching Crown Cup Season 3, Week 4, as Val just stated. We have a match between Rocket and Formless today. Best of 5. I'm really excited. Best of 3. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a really interesting tournament so far. We are currently in the Swiss stage. All teams have played either 3 or 4 matches. At the end of this week, they will have all played 4. The 2 teams we have today have lost 2 and won 1. So they're looking to try and climb out of the bottom half of the bracket, try start winning some games, and progress. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, looking at these rosters, we have Team Rocket with Dex and Dyron on DPS, Phantom on tank, Kofi and Kita on support. Then for Team Formless, Sig and Fam on DPS, You're Welcome on tank, and Faye and Alex on support. Um, I'm not sure we know much. We've not seen much of them. I know Rocket we saw last week on stream. They were quite interesting. They were really fun to play, and they really shot themselves up. But then I believe they got shot down in the end.
They were shut down in the end. Yeah, we saw quite a good one from Rocket. A very, very interesting match. And this time, Formless, at least from vaguely what I know, at least I know about from one of the players, it's going to be Kofku. And their favorite food happens to be pineapple.
That's a choice. That's
That is a
honestly
choice.
not what I would expect from an esports player. They're normally considered a bit unhealthy, but maybe they're trying to make a better name for gamers out there.
It does get a bit better though. I've also heard that they are allergic to the very same pineapple, so bit of a bit of a love and hate relationship, you might say.
Oh gosh, that yeah, it's a bit worrying that their favorite food's also the one most likely to kill them, but each to their own, I guess. Um, and I mean, looking at the group stage standing overall, it's really interesting so far this tournament. We have 3 teams: VA Callisto, YS Siege, and UW Killswitch, who have all won 3 and lost 0. So over the next week or two, one of them's probably going to end up being on top, having won every game, and then the other 2 are just going to be at 3 or 4 wins.
Yeah, this is like a big contention for the top spot, and we'll see the stronger teams come out, and hopefully we'll get a bit more of an idea of the strong and I guess the weaker teams in the bracket over the coming weeks. Still quite early on, but we're starting to already see that, obviously UV Kill Switch, YS Siege, they've had some and VA Callisto have had some like very good showing so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm really excited for today. I'm really excited to see what is brought to the table. I know that the Overwatch patch notes came out like just over a week and a half ago, roughly. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shaped the meta. Tracer's a little bit weaker, but still pretty damn good. We're still kind of in that dive, kind of in that poke comp, but with less Arissa, which honestly I like because I do not like Arissa. I feel like she stalls the game just a bit too much. But it's going to be interesting to see how these teams implement their picks, and also each team gets 1 ban, which is going to be really exciting to see how that plays an impact. How if they're able to counterpick their opponents properly.
Very much so. Arista being strong means the game is going to be a bit slower. So we're looking at Team Rocket here, and we've got Sig on Junkrat as his, I believe, favorite hero. We've got Fam on the hit scan. We've got Your Welcome with his signature Winston. We saw this last time from Team Rocket, and it was a very, very good Winston comp that they could bring out consistently and do a lot with. Faye, who was the MVP from that last match, for the game-winning boops, both on the Lucio and the Brig, especially on the Lee Jung, very, very dangerous. And we've got Alex this
Yes.
time on the flex support.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Lee Chang for poops, man. It's so funny. Then for Formless, we have Dex and D-Ron on DPS. Dex looking to play main DPS or hit scan, and D-Ron playing off. Then Phantom on tank, Kofi and Kita on support. Probably looking to play like Brig Anna, at least from these images. But I'm excited to see what they pull out if Formless go for more brawly or divey comps. I believe we have some just extra collected info on them that I might be able to pull up here. Um, yeah, so Formless generally like to play uh, dive in their comps, which is very fun, very exciting, and it means so much happens in such a condensed amount of time, and it's so interesting and fun.
Yeah, and Arno Brig, a fantastic dive backline, genuinely a
Yeah,
staple of dive, like all around. Um, and if it's more towards their preferred hero pools, what they play the most, what they practice the most, we're expecting to see them on dive maps at least be a force to be reckoned with, honestly.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, looking at some details of the teams here, Phantom looks to be their tank player and plays Junker Queen, and their favorite hero is also Junker Queen. Um, Now, looking at the map picks, we're going to start in Control, then move to Hybrid, then Escort, then uh, Push, then Flashpoint. The losing team gets to choose the next map.
Yeah, and looking at the control map pool here, we've got Busan, Lijiang Tao, Nepal, and Oasis. So, where do you think we'll be headed first this time?
Um, I honestly have no idea. I genuinely hope it's Lijiang Tower or Nepal. They are some of the most interesting maps in my opinion. There's a lot of potential for teams to do interesting rotations, interesting movements, and like hold interesting angles. There's so many opportunities those maps create because there's a lot of different paths and channels you can take, and it forces close encounters fights generally. Um, Oasis is okay. I don't love it. It feels a bit too open. It feels like it just forces stalled out fights, stalled out matches. But I mean, if teams can make it work, they're going to make it work. They're going to push for it. And Busan's kind of in that mid ground of it advantages every composition a reasonable amount. Like you can make anything work really well on Busan, and it's probably a really well balanced and designed map because of that. But
Yeah,
just the
all of
idea of
Oh, I'll very quickly interject. All of Busan's three submaps are quite unique. You know, Sanctuary has incredibly long sight lines. We've seen Widows, you've seen Ashes, you've seen more poke comps come out on Sanctuary. For example, if you take it over to Mecha Base, usually everyone goes straight to Brawl. These close corners,
yeah,
these close quarters, I should say. Very, very tight. You see a lot of Brawl there. And then you go over to the city center, or the downtown, I should say. And again, the map widens up. You've got a lot of open space, and that's where you see people take control of the high ground, usually on the right side with a hit scan like Ash.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so interesting to see how teams exploit things, and I'm really excited to see what happens this match, what happens this setup. We've got a team who we've seen a reasonable amount from in this tournament, and a team we've not seen much from. Uh, Both, as I said, vying to get into that top half of the bracket, into having a reasonable chance of showing themselves and saying, "Hey, we are here, we are strong, and we're gonna stick about." I believe the top 8 teams out of 19 go on to the next stage of the tournament. Um, so I'm really excited to see how who's just able to scrape into that, and I believe that these teams are still just about in the running for that.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit to play for in the series so far, and obviously over the length of the season, where even though they're currently both these teams are currently down with both, well, two losses, I should say, each. They're still all to play for. They still very much can make it into playoffs for the top 8.
Oh, and I believe we've just got the first pick here. It is Nepal. I'm ecstatic about this. Honestly, I really like Nepal. It's so fun. It's so interesting, and it makes such consistently fun matches.
Yeah, when I think of Nepal, when it comes to the Winston comp that we've seen from Team Rocket a couple times, I think Winston's going to be incredibly hard when it comes to Nepal Sanctum, for example. So
Yeah,
I think on Sanctum specifically, we're going to need to see a different look this time from Team Rocket.
yeah, absolutely. I know that. Uh, Rock, yeah, I mean Winston. He's able to control so much space, and when there's such a big gap, it really makes it difficult to traverse it. But when you just jump over it. You're essentially a flying tank, and it's so fun to watch. It's so exciting. But I mean, in this current meta, you see a lot of like Brig, Anna, Lucio, characters that can CC opponents. They might just be able to stun the Winston mid jump. It's difficult to pull off, especially against a good Winston.
You
But
think we might
it's
see a
always
boop
fun.
mid jump and a Winston falling off the map, perhaps?
I
That
mean,
would be quite a sight.
it's not likely, but if it happens, I think I deserve an award or something now.
If you can call it even at this stage, that is just I'm afraid you're just on another level when it comes to foreseeing the results of a certain match.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I expect when it happens, chat will just be rigged, rigged, rigged. Uh, but the teams are just picking their bands as we speak, I believe. So we are about to go into the game in just a couple seconds.
Yeah, still waiting on ban, I believe, from Formless as of right now. And then
Yes.
we should be getting everyone into the lobby, making sure everything's good. Hopefully, there's no tech issues, and we'll be speeding on just like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, when it comes to this Nepal, in terms of compositions, I don't quite think we might see Winston here. I believe we're going to lean, oh, Team Rocket at least, will lean more towards the Ram. And
Yeah.
considering for Phantom, who's the tank of Formless here, Queen is their favorite. How do you feel about the Queen into Ram matchup here?
I mean, Queen's pretty good against Ram. Ram's generally designed to go through shields. He counters shield tanks really well, and Queen is able to close that distance because Ram's basically just a dude with a big health bar that Queen can really exploit. She can get so much life steal from him. She can force him out of position, and she's got a shotgun. She can just deal so much damage. Here we see the hero bands. Team Rocket have banned Ramatra. Interesting choice there. Whilst Formless have banned Venture, that makes so much sense. Venture is so good on this map. She's got so much vertical mobility, so much boop potential, and she is so threatening in close quarters. As is Ramatra. Potentially, we're going to see both these teams trying to run dive or poke comps here.
Do you think maybe the Ram was to mayhaps enable the Winston?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it makes sense. Ram's pretty good at countering Winston, especially when if you commit to a location on this map, you're kind of forced to stay there. I mean, we're seeing the teams are just getting in now. Formless looking to run Roadhog into Phantom's Queen. That's definitely going to give Team Rocket a big advantage here. Probably a Symmetra teleport coming out from both teams here at the start, clearly wanting to get to the point just that little bit quicker. Formless running a double speed cut out Kiri Lucio.
Alright, Diron over to the Genji as we come to this opening, and here's the hook, and it's
Whoa!
massive. Phantom had the Suzu forced, had all the cooldowns, and it seems just off this first initial trade, Team Formless, taking all the space off the Roadhog hook, and you can see how dangerous it can be, even to a hero or a tank like Queen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Formless knew what they were doing there. They called out that target and they instantly all piled on damage onto Phantom there. I mean, Tracer's able to deal so much burst damage alongside a Roadhog with his hook and shotgun. And I mean, Kiriko here for Formless, just about scraping by, just alive. But Saiku is going to try kill them, try and just disrupt that backline. Isn't going to find much value as Rocket have already taken the point, but is being taken back by Formless. 15-20% almost so far on the objective.
Yeah, and it seems like the results of this first fight have gone the way of Rocket. Formless getting that initial better setup, you could say, but afterwards, Mommy Chicken unable to quite hit a hook. Very, very good work there from Rocket to slowly wear him down. We saw Formless try to work their way around, try to burn the queen, try to do a few things, but ultimately not quite enough there.
Yeah, absolutely. Mommy Chicken choosing to go onto the Drinker Queen now makes a lot of sense. I feel like Roadhog in this matter is weird. He's not that good. I appreciate that he's got a unique advantage on this map specifically, but it's not worth playing for. And Sneaky Turtle already having ult, the first ult in the game, but Pocket Swin is almost going to have it. And how does Sneaky Turtle manage to get a kill onto a DPS? That's incredible.
Yeah, we've also got some ult in play, so here comes the Kitsune Rush, this time from Formless. And Sneaky Turtle, he's dead with beat! Unbelievable. Now Rocket able to swing straight back into this, but it's Mommy Chicken who's died. And Phantom, still alive, still healthy. And Formless might just eke out a win off this. It seems that... Oh, I made it slightly too soon here.
Okay. Team Rocket really pushing up there, managing to retake or take the point there. Formless did manage to go 55%, but that was very well played by them. The Sneaky Turtle managing to get that early kill on Fam really gave them some forward momentum and created a lot of opportunity and space for them. We're now seeing 2 ults into 3, but Rocket are close to 1 more and Formless are close to another. The almost Ajax from Faye there for the early beat isn't going to find that much value, but will keep the team alive a bunch. Now going for Sneaky Turtle, just trying to kill him before he can beat. It's not going to come out, but both teams do have 1 DPS dead now. And the Genji Blade coming out, managing to get a kill onto Kiriko, but they are going to kill themselves. Point is at 68-70% as Rocket have lost.
And that was a big, big ult exchange for either side there. Loads of mirrors ults. After the beat exchange came the Blade from Formless to follow up, to layer on top. Once all these CDs had been gone, once the beat over ult had gone, Darren had a very, very nice Blade to close up the fight. We've got now beat this time from, Blade this time from Pyko, and also the mirrored Queen ults on either side. Things to watch out for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kiriko ult for Formless is close. That's some really good potential push-up value, especially with a Phantom ult potentially. It's hard to counter, especially in a comp with no CC. You're just waiting for that Suzu to come out before they use it, and that's potentially what's going to determine the fight. But Genji Blade will come out, trying to find a kill, isn't going to quite get it. Sojourn manages to get a kill. That is 2 kills for Team Formless, and in third, but 2 kills from the side of Team Rocket.
Got a Kitsu to hopefully keep them stable here. Everyone looking at Mommy Chicken here. Mommy Chicken doing their best to live, but doesn't quite manage it. And the flip goes the way Formless. We're in genuinely last fight territory and looking for any touches for the point here. I think that's going to move over to a very fast comp now, Rocket.
Yeah, absolutely. Team Rocket really need to touch. They really need to just get in there. And they are just about able to, but they do die in the process. A second death from Faye. And damn. The noise, the Lucio beat was not necessary.
Maybe Sneaky Turtle hoping to use it to clean up the fight a bit, making sure nobody trades out at the very least. More of a victory beat than anything else, but ultimately a rather back and forth round, but Formless taking this submap on Village.
Absolutely, and I mean a brilliant display from Formless there. They did slip a little bit, they did concede some of the point to Rocket, so don't count them out of the fight yet. But I mean, these picks and bans, or these bans really interesting. It's forced, they kind of banned relatively off meta characters, which is just forced pretty hard meta, except Mummy Chicken's now running Roadhog. Trying it again, didn't work last time, maybe it'll work a little bit at this time. There's a couple more angles, a bit more, a bit less free space, and the swap to Orisa is going to be pretty strong. is a little bit worse, like theoretically, but she's
But
still pretty
usually
good.
Orisa quite strong into Queen, able to just bully her back, take the space, and make sure you can force her CD as well. That much else on your part.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see both Sojuns here trading in just a little bit of damage, and Dion managing to get the kill onto Fam. Saiku is on the objective, but isn't going to find much value as their opponents aren't either.
With the Sojourn down early, Fam's already decided to switch over to the Freya, maybe. And with this initial first fight and the first pick, the Cat's going to go the way of Formless as they reset and take another quick neutral.
Absolutely, and I mean, Freya's a pretty good choice here. Freya's been really hard since she joined the game, and it's potentially got some really threatening damage, especially against that tank. It means that like trying to Kirisuzu it is just really difficult, and they are going to be in the backline here, able to get 2 kills really quick off the bat towards the start of the fight, as Orisa is now one shot for Team Rocket and does fall eventually. That is going to be a heavy stagger, which will aid Formless quite a bit.
Mommy Chicken's still good for their one, does manage to get Phantom in the end. But with both tanks on their way back from respawn, it's going to be another setup for Formless. And this time, it's going to be looking like a big ult exchange. But Rocket ahead on the ults, if they can recognize that Pocket Swim has the much faster Kitsu, they could swing this in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. But that all just comes down to a little bit of ult tracking, a little bit of communication, and they instantly pop it from the side of Team Form. From the side of Team Rocket, Mummy Chicken manages to get 1 kill onto Dex, but Formless is still holding the objective. This is about pushing up from the low ground now onto the objective, as Dion, trying to get a kill onto Sojourn, is going to miss. Sneaky Turtle managing to kill Mummy Chicken. That Lucio's got so many kills.
The Sneaky Turtle doing so much. The repush with the Kitsu too strong for Rocket to handle there. And after what was initially in the first submap, a very 50-50, a very back and forth, this second submap has been an absolute domination. It's been a real show this time from Formless. They've got a Kitsu on this fight now. I mean, they've got a Sojourn ult, and it's Dex looking at everyone. Faye not able to live, just shot out the sky. Here comes the blade to follow up, and they've got all the ults in the world. An attempt by Mommy Chicken and Orisa ult, but it's just too much. Too many things in the war chest, you could say, and Formless. They take the victory on the Nepal.
I mean,
Clean 2-0.
They've shot Rocket down so far. It's whether they can get back up, and that really shows the true strength and power of a team if they can recover from defeat, from losses. But remember, this is still a best of 5. They can still pull this back, and they have every chance of doing so. They definitely had some really good plays and good points in that match. So I'm really excited to see how they can pull ahead if they can continue. I would love to see some match stats for that game if possible, but we could just be going straight into the next one.
Yeah, very much so. It'd be nice to see. But from what we saw, if you're Team Rocket now, you've had your Queen Mirror against Formless, and this is the thing that Formless were more comfortable with, honestly. As you could see from Phantom, like really happy to stay the Queen there, doing their best. And now as we're seeing the stats.
Yeah, so these are the stats for the entire teams collectively over the past game, and we see Formless actually doing really well here on paper. They have almost half the deaths and several times the eliminations of their opponents.
Yeah, we've got very mirrored stats when it comes to damage and the healing in terms of the average. But the real kicker here is the elims, it is the final blows, it is the best, and you can just very comfortably tell off that who's been performing better, who's been winning more fights, who's been taking more space, and this kind of information just really favors Formless off the bat.
And be sure to stay tuned because these matches, these stats update between matches, and it's cumulative over the entire set. So they're just going to get to wildly high numbers by the end of it.
We are going to see some very outrageously large numbers by the end of our series for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The teams are just picking and banning the map and the characters they're choosing to that aren't in play. So I'm really excited to see what strategy they approach with that. And Numbani has been chosen for hybrid.
So it's Team Rocket's map pick, of course. They've gone to Numbani, and I think that's very favorable for them. Last time we did see them on stream, it was on the Numbani, and they had their Winston comp. They showed a wonderful, wonderful attack, and they had a very solid defense too. Essentially, leaking. I think at the time going for a full hold on their defense, which is quite tough these days, especially in Numbani.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a reasonable chance we see Formless try ban Winston here because they're clearly playing it for that character that is kind of their signature, and he's so good on that map. He's so oppressive, and if you manage to correctly predict that counter, it gives you so much advantage in that match going into it. It kind of torpedoes your opponent's plans a bit. You've still been running that Sojourn and that Genji, which did work pretty damn well or reasonably well, and it's still strong on that map, but it's entirely possible for Formless to just mirror that.
For sure. Now, I think the curious thing is if Team Rocket choose to maybe protect Bandai Winston, because this Winston comp they so love to run, it could just very well be down to if Winston is banned. This could be very, very rough.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I mean, I'm really excited to see how this plays out, how this turns out, and I believe we are just pretty damn close to starting the game and entering the second game of this best of five first to three competition.
When I think of Rocket, the other thing that I remember at least was it wasn't just Winston they felt quite comfortable when it came to the dive or the brawl, I could say. Um, I believe they had quite a strong hazard the last time I saw them.
Yeah,
So you've
yeah,
got actually multiple options when I think about it. You could lead more into the hazard and Barney in these small rooms. You've got the wall. You can literally trap people inside and stick
yeah,
them with a 700 HP menace with full armor and a block that can damage and potentially heal him if you had the major perk. So
yeah. And I mean, um, Winston is really good, but you're right. Hazard is probably more threatening, especially in like a 1v1 scenario. He has way higher DPS. He's got a reasonable amount more like I don't want to say tech because Winston does have a lot of tech, but like damage combos you can pull off to really efficiently kill an opponent instead of deal a lot of damage to a group.
yeah, Hazard a much more singular target kind of tank,
Yeah,
able to more easily eliminate a single target with his shotgun, with the combos he has, with the slash, and those are like consistent one shot combos, especially on 225 HP targets like the Lucio, like the Kiri, who teams so
yeah.
like to run here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, both have decent escape options. Lucy's got that boop, Kiri's got a TP and a Suzu. But if you dive someone and they use Suzu, that's still so much damn value because Suzu's arguably the best ability in the game. As soon as you've taken away your opponent's Suzu, if you've not used it, you have an advantage going into the rest of the fight. You can play aggressively. You can try and get your Genji or Sojourn to make a play. And if they get one or two kills from it, it is well worth it. And if they don't, you've not lost much. You've just also used Suzu, which your opponents have done.
Yeah, the value of mirroring cooldowns or taking advantage of the trade has always been super important, and it's very nice that at least in the first half we saw quite a bit of that from both teams. It's very good to see. Um, it's also reminded me now that we might be heading to Numbani. Do you think we might see some Anna Brig potentially? A
I
little bit of a
mean,
slowdown.
I I think it's a reasonable chance. Anna Brig is almost like when you say Overwatch, Anna Brig's one of the metas that you really think of it. Really, it's really iconic. It really defined the game because it's so fun. It's so interesting as a composition of let's put the shortest range and longest range supports together, but it works so well, especially on Nambani. First point, you've got that really strong high ground that you're wanting to hold, and against someone like a Hazard, against someone like a Winston, it's really good at booping them away, punishing them for even trying to approach your backline. And you've got to remember, Brig's healing is like double the radius of Lucio's. It is ridiculously long range. So even if you're only hitting whip shots occasionally, or you're not actually that near your tank, but you have LOS, they're probably getting healed by Brig.
Well. Speak of the devil, and our hero bans have arrived. It seems Rocket starting off with the Winston ban, which I find quite
That's
interesting, especially with their favorable impressions of Winston comp. But it's the other ban that I'll let you expand on, Zeus, especially after you've just talked about Brig.
I mean, yeah, I kind of wasn't expecting this, but also it makes a lot of sense. It's a really good choice to for this map, which potentially makes teams really want to play them. But if you don't play them well, or you don't want to play into it, it's also a really, really strong choice. We're probably looking at teams running speed comps here, like really fast dive, high mobility. Because Hazard is a good, really fast brawl, high mobility characters. Because Hazard is a good dive character, sure. But like at this point, you're probably going to end up running Lucio, Kiri, maybe a Juno. And
Yeah.
at that point, it's way easier and better to run brawl.
Yeah, I also believe like without the Brig there to stabilize and keep the honor safe in a lot of scenarios, I don't think we will even see an honor here. Without the Brig there to keep her safe, to protect the space, to enable her to get as much value as she can, the honor's life would be much, much too hard. So it seems, you might be right, we're seeing a, a Lucio Juno this time from Rocket on the attack, maybe just to start off with. And we've got a Lucio Kiri on defense.
Yeah, yeah, Juno's looking like she's gonna speed ring and then swap, which does make a lot of sense. But man, Juno Lucio is a fun comp to see. It's probably not that great, but who cares? It's funny. We are going to see the Diva into Phantom's Ramatra. Interesting choice here. They kind of counter each other in a way. I believe Phantom is able to punch through the defense matrix, whilst Diva is going to be able to deal a lot of damage if they get up close, if they manage to break Phantom's armor, but it's 50% of the health, and they've got that Nemesis form.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a push in here from Team Rocket, but it seems they got caught in a small room. And it's not just Faye, Juno and Pocket also fall at the same time. Fam gets a nice trade onto Blaze F, but it is Mommy Chicken who also gets DMX and taken out the fight. So we're looking for another reset, this time from Team Rocket on their attack.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, brilliant hold from Formless so far. That was really well played. They knew the threat of their opponents, especially that Diva, and they just conceded space. It's risky, sure, but it's a heck lot less risky than just letting them kill you. And Dex instantly recognizing the amount of pressure on them, gonna be just at 6% or 6 health and will die. But I mean, Team Rocket are now just kind of trapped, and Faye is able to get Sneaky Turtle is able to get a foot kill onto Faye. Kiriko is gonna try and get punished in that backline, but it's just going to escape with Rocket's Mummy Chicken.
Yeah, we're seeing like a lot of threat from these DV dives, and even there, it was Dex who did fall first. But it's the problem is what happens afterwards. Consistently, Formless have been able to catch the dives after the initial burst and come back not with just one pick, but two or three kills sometimes in return.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, incredible play there, incredible display of skill and ability. The Genji Deflect will be coming out here, just trying to find some value, trying to stall, but Blazak will die. And, the Echo copy onto Ramatra is going to be pretty damn threatening. Dex already looking low and is going to be executed by Fam. And the Ramatra ult coming out, just trying to keep the Echo clone as long as they possibly can. That is going to fall in the end though. But Rocket are taking the objective and it is almost there. Ramatra going to try to touch at the side here. Is going to manage to. The Lucio beat does come out and Seeker Turtle manages to get a kill onto Mommy Chicken. They cannot stop getting kills onto their opposing tank. And they've retaken the point, I believe.
A fantastic retake there by Formless. What was initially looking like very, very strong for Rocket, and I even thought they'd cap it right there, but the kill onto Mommy Chicken, not able to get the remake, just instantly dead. Like, really, really nice work there from Formless, especially with that deep push. Exactly what they needed.
it's honestly incredible. Echo here looking to get some value, looking to get an opportunity, just waiting out their opponent's cooldowns and looking for that damage. The TP coming out, wasting those sticky bombs. But, I mean, Saiku able to get that beam kill. And, I mean, prepare for trouble and make it double. That is a 2k for Saiku there.
Fantastic work from Team Rocket here. They found the opportunity, and BlazeF unable to use this blade. Dex not even using the OC, caught so early. Phantom still having ult. We saw Team Formless there, just caught so fast in the turn by Team Rocket. It was so strong, it was so quick. And yeah, they managed to sneak off with first point.
But, I mean, Formless here, if you're on the side of Formless, sure, you've just lost that point, but, like, I'm still in a really good mindset because you held them so long. They only have 2.5 minutes left on this second point, and by the time you get to third point, they're probably going to end up being held pretty strongly. But I mean, point is already retaken by Formless here. Team Rocket looking to regroup and having very similar ult economy for both teams. The early kill onto Fam from Dex is going to be very valuable, and Sneaky Circle managing to kill Faye again. Oh my gosh, they do it so much.
Yeah, we saw a quick rotation there from the Lucian Ram onto the enemy's high ground, looking for maybe a potential spawn hole, but it seems they've just about been fought back. But now we're looking at a massive ult exchange. Beats on either side. We still got this Ram ult from Formless, the Kiri ult this time online, and the blade that BlazeF has been nurturing. Got to keep eyes on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Team Rocket look to have the ult economy advantage here. They just have one more ult than their opponents will by the end of this fight. And the early copy from Echo here is going to fall and is going to be quite low, but will just about escape from that situation, using it to live. Mommy Chicken does manage to get a kill, and the blade is going to come out, chasing them down, but Saiku kind of just sacrifices themselves. And BlazeF managing to get a 3k onto their opponent's retaking the point with only 1:14 left on the timer.
A really nice blade there from BlazeF. And the Echo Fico trying their best to come back with it, but unable to kill that Genji, especially with the lifesteal on blade now. Very, very strong, gives him the extra sustain he needs. We've still got loads of ults in the bank from Formless. They've been very, very patient with their ults, not really going super aggressive with them apart from the blade.
No, absolutely. And I mean, they're recognizing that, hey, we can probably win with just 1 or 2 weeks to fight. They waited out that beat because there was a really early beat from Team Rocket there, and it really worked. But Kiriko does go down, and that is going to be a almost team wipe from Team Rocket. That was an incredible play. They popped 2 ults there, I believe, and it was well worth it. Actually, only Kiriko won.
Yeah, the initial pick there onto Dex there from the other Freya. Fam doing really, really nice work. And they chose to take a very quick fight with the Kiri ult. Sneaky Turtle not having the time to pop the beat. Arapiva choosing not to invest the Kitsu either, and they just get run over. Phantom's had this Ram ult for what seems like forever now, and it seems they're not really looking for a timing potential.
Yeah, Dex falling to Mummy Chicken. BlazeF managing to get a kill onto Faye. Lucio is not going to be diving them today, but Saiku manages to kill BlazeF, and this just feels like a game of Tig with death.
Here comes the Ram ult from Phantom. It does catch the Kiri from the other side. Pyko still very low and does get caught by Dex, so it seems going to be a quick retreat this time from Rocket, making sure nobody else gets staggered, taking it a bit slower, waiting for their respawns, and we've still got this beat this time from Sneaky Turtle and the Kitsu from Arapaima, coming very close to last fight territory. Maybe about 2 fights left in it, and got to keep eyes on these ults.
I mean, depending on how Formless are able to play this, they could try win the fight quick, or they could try stall as long as possible, and they look to be playing aggressively. They pop the Kitsune ult, and it's not going to find much value. Will keep them alive a bunch though, and they're going to manage to get a kill. Mommy Chicken managing to get a Demon Bomb kill onto BlazeF. Dex getting one onto Saiku, as Rocket are forced back off the point and are forced to reset for one last fight with only 25 seconds left on the timer.
Yeah, one last fight, and Sneaky Turtle still has this be a massive advantage. If the fight goes long, Faye will have it to match. I've got to keep eyes on this copy and the Kitsu this time from Pocket's win.
Diva burning almost all of their defense matrix just to rotate round the corner. and now trying to come out into that backline, trying to dive. The Mirage copy from Echo is going to try find a lot of value, and they're going to be able to still, they are going to be able to push up the point just that little bit further, and now in overtime, Rocket have to stay touching, they have to continue pushing, and the Echo copy will manage to use their ultimate to try and get a kill, but they won't manage to quite find it. They are now extremely close to capping because they managed to force Formless off of the objective for most of that. Faye getting a kill onto Blazer, but Sneaky Turtle managing to eliminate Mummy Chicken out of the game, and Fam managing to just get that backline kill onto Phantom, who just overcommitted a little too much. Roller shot coming out is going to whiff as Team Rocket managed to cap. I was not expecting that.
An absolute dogfight at the end, multiple ults used. Faye with the later beat. We saw Sneaky Turtle use theirs to survive the ram push from the copy Echo into a ram. Like Chuno doing so well, or should I say Paiku doing really, really well there. The later beat helping Team Rocket stabilize, preventing any trades, and they just managed to get all the space. Formless doing their best to juggle point effectively, but ultimately still getting worn down in the resource war, and it really, really hurt them with the worst cooldown trades they had. And at the end, even though it's not quite a C9, everyone was still dying on point. A very, very nice full cap from Team Rocket there.
Yeah, absolutely. That was really impressive. Really strong performance from both teams there. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised I'm kind of surprised Formless lost that. I was really expecting quite a lot of them from this, given the incredible display we just saw from them. And Fam did an interesting tech I've never seen before on the
Freya, I believe.
Yeah.
Right now we're looking at the many lovely signs around Nirvani as we head into this map. It seems Formless are heading out on the ball comp, and Rocket are still sticking the same composition they had on the defensive.
Yeah, ball's really interesting, especially with Lucio. In my experience, it doesn't work that well. It's too difficult to speed boost a ball in, and he really doesn't need it, but potentially it's for the rest of the team, trying to force them to rotate. And, I mean, we're going to see that Sneaky Turtle does fall quite early on. That is both teams having one support down, and they almost pushed them off the map. They didn't quite, but they managed to get a rocket kill onto them as they came off. Phantom is going to be quite low, but it's just going to manage to roll away.
That's the thing with ball, can definitely live these engages. Formless,
never mind.
Well, never mind, does get chased all the way down by Mummy Chicken and Faye there. So looking for another quick reset here. You've got to be really careful of this Diva without any other tank to really match and mirror them. Diva especially strong into squishies here, and Rocket recognizing this. If the ball's causing chaos in their backline, sure, we'll just trade yours. We have a Diva, and you have a ball who might choose to roll away.
Absolutely, and I mean, ball's looking pretty low, pushing into this room against an Echo is pretty rough, and Blazer and Dex both managing to get a kill, but Fam gets one themselves, and Mummy Chicken managing to kill Dex in exchange. But the ball is trying to back cap here, and with Diva quite low on health, that is going to force out Lucio Amp it up, and I mean, you don't really want to be using Amp it up just to heal one ally. That's generally considered pretty inefficient. The bowler shot will come out, isn't going to find much value, isn't going to do much. Fam is looking quite low, but does manage to retreat and just get healed up that little bit. Formless almost capped here. Rocket is going to have to touch soon if they want to hold this point, and they decide to concede it, probably for the best. We are now seeing that Mummy Chicken trying to rotate, trying to hold the point here, as Phantom is quite low, as Bull really chasing them down, but is going to concede in the end. 4 minutes 20 on the clock, 14 Formless compared to the 3 minutes I believe Team Rocket had.
Yeah, a really nice first point attack there from Formless. Just using the strengths of the ball comp, really tearing people away, getting them into different positions, and just like isolating the targets and taking these favorable 1v1. So we've got some ults on the board now. We've got almost Mirage Kitsunes. We've got the Minefield coming up soon. Aiko has this Echo copy. This could do a lot of work. And it seems Phantom's getting chased out from the start here. Copies in for Paiku. Coffee Tracer looking to catch someone in the back line, heading in with Diva, got the DM. But we've had the recall force, and it seems like a bit of stabilization. Has a nice Coffee force.
Tracer bomb coming out, doesn't quite manage to bind it.
Left at 8 HP, and does give Win the 1v1 against Arapima.
Yeah, just
But now
about.
left isolated on coast and does fall.
Yeah, Bam using an entire up there, that is a bit bitter, but makes sense. You get throw back so fast, and just to confirm a kill against such a dominating character is so worth it.
Yeah, we've got another big ult fight coming up here. Now, Arapaima has the Kitsu advantage, and Sneaky Turtle is coming very, very close to this beat. But we've seen a swap off the ball onto the Ram now here from Phantom. Maybe choosing to take a bit more of a frontline trade, trying to bully this Diva back, force caught a bit better, and hoping to catch some of these backliners with the Vortex.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Formless here with 3 ults into 2, that is going to give them a big advantage here. And if they can exploit that right, they could probably win this fight here, as they are pushing up quite far, having not used a single ult yet. There's going to be Kiriko Suzu out already in the fight, and Formless have exclusively made progress. We are going to see a dive attempt onto this backline here from Saiku, but they will get pretty down low. The Lucio will come out here alongside an ampet of speed boost that is going to be so threatening, that is going to give them so much forward momentum, but Dex managing to get a 2k onto their opponents with that ultimate isn't going to be enough. It's going to be too little, too late, as Team Rocket have managed to retake the objective and hold it.
Yeah, Sneaky Turtle, it seems Formless as a whole choosing not to mirror the beats here, and that really does cost them, even though they managed to stabilize it. I guess they now have the double support advantage in comparison, but it seems like if you just mirror the beat there, you win the trade a lot easier.
And yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm pretty sure Formless are the better team. If they match resources, they can probably do a lot. We are going to see a Kitsune alongside a Lucio speed boost here, and the Freya will come out, managing to get a kill onto Blazer, as Dex just gets rolled by their opponents. And Team Rocket have made so much progress. An overcommitment from Formless there, really punishing them, and Sneaky Turtle choosing to save B yet again. Already almost at 40%, having used it one fight ago.
There was an investment of Kitsune there to help Phantom go deeper into the backline, looking for these people, trying to catch them with the slow, with the ram form. But without the beat to help extend this, it felt so rough. You saw Phantom, or the rest of the team, I should say, melt on the way in. So we're looking for another fight. Gotta watch these ultimates still.
Absolutely. Sneaky Turtle choosing to save that beat here, potentially wanting to use it when he knows it can win a fight, but still really interesting choice, still almost questionable potentially, but maybe they've got a plan overall, I don't know.
Yeah, we're into last fight territory now. Team Rocket still have this Kitsune. Mommy Chicken's got the remake on hold, but Formless, they now are going to have this bowler, still have this beat, and looking for a ram ult now. So I think I'm favoring them on point currently if they can get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Team Rocket do look to be having the lead, having an advantage here. Phantom managing to get a kill onto Fam early on, taking that high ground, and the Tracer 1v1 is going to be a mind boggle to try and figure out, and Faye will die from Phantom. The block from Ramatra coming out, just making them able to live it, and finally the beat from Sneaky Turtle comes out, and it's gonna work, it's gonna help them with the fight. So many of them were low there.
A nice beat and a nice annihilation. Finally, with some investment, we see that they can cap second. Now it's going to be Faye with the beat advantage here, cooking up for another one. They've still got to reach the end here now, Formless, and they've got just about 2 fights. Mommy Chicken still on the Diva on this 3rd point, and I think it's going to be a bit trickier for the Diva, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Formless, really interesting choice there to push, to not commit many resources there. Probably thinking of saving them for the last point, but they lost the time advantage they had. They had about a minute and a half longer than their opponents, and they just wasted it in the end.
Yeah, trying to take these, I said, greedy fights, trying to win with, like, just cheating the ult economy, cheating the bank here, but ultimately it cost them the time. We're into final fight territory. Out comes the beat from Faye, catches all 5 members, and it seems a big push onto Phantom. He's keeping those hands up, and he just about lives. for his shield timing to come back up, and out comes the Kitsu.
Yeah.
Looking for a
And I mean,
repush, and it's Blazer who catches Juno.
it's crazy to me that Sneaky Turtle saves their ult so much. They're already at 80% after one fight, and Team Rocket are losing the objective here. Formless have almost taken it, and the touch from Kiriko with that Suzu, and Tracer on the objective, just trying to stay alive, but Dex is going to melee kill them. The boot off of the objective, and this is just how much can Rocket rotate, and not enough. That is 5 seconds longer for Formless. If they had just committed that little bit harder to the second point, they really could have won that way sooner.
Yeah, nonetheless, it was a nice cap at the end, and a full cap, so to speak. That last fight was quite interesting. We saw a beat from Team Rocket hoping to chase down this Ram, but Ramatra, when he's able to hold up those hands, almost feels unkillable. And the repush with the Kitsune really catching the aggression from Team Rocket, and they're not able to get out in time. Blazef doing a lot in that last fight, catching out the enemy Tracer and catching another kill. And they managed to push in off those as well, doing really, really well as a whole team Formless.
Absolutely. We're now going to see 1 minute left on the clock for both teams here. Oh, or 1 minute and 5 seconds if you're Formless. But it's going to be interesting to see how they play this. If they're able to push that. This is 1 or 2 fights maximum, really. And with the point being so far away from the spawn doors for Team Rocket, it's going to put the attackers at a reasonable disadvantage here. It's really going to rely on how far can they drive, how much can they push their opponents back here. And I mean, I'm not seeing any major comp changes coming into this final or this second round.
Yeah, it seems Pyko sticking the Tracer into the Echo that we've seen them on for quite a bit now, choosing to take this sort of mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. And Team Rocket pushing through the side and the doors is going to manage to get them a bunch of space onto the high ground, going to remove Formless's advantage they had starting out here. But with D.Va rotating, they are going to manage to kill Dex, and Chuno getting that 2k onto their opponent. This is really well played. I don't know why they didn't do this at the start on the first push, but they're really getting a lot of forward momentum here. But Kiri is almost killing Fam. This is so close, that 1v1. And Kiri's just going to bail, but will die in the end.
Ram doing his best 11 point. Phantom trying to stall for time, trying to wait for the respawns, but isn't unable to get to another form timing. Blazef takes over the touch for a bit longer. Momichek is so low, but it doesn't feel like you can get the DMEC here with the support backup from the Juno here. And it seems that Team Rocket are going to get this first cap. Now Formless are going to have the overtime spawn, so Blazef is going to be a lot later to the fight, and they seem to be fighting for second now.
All I want to know is, where's this Team Rocket been? They're doing so well. They're really applying the pressure. They're rotating properly. They're having such clear and strong communication. And honestly, I hope they continue this throughout the rest of the set, because it's so exhilarating to watch. They're such a well-coordinated and good team right now.
Yeah, we really saw that on the D.Va dive, where it initially came off that first fight, and how they won it over the long fight. Now then, we're coming close to a few ults here. Pockets win very, very close to their Juno ult. Closing on it super quick, maybe using it to win this next fight. Deflect forced out from Genji. Still has the dash to get out if he needs help, but it's Phantom who's in rather deep. Maybe needs a quick timing with the Nemesis form, and does catch Faye. Out comes the beat from Sneaky Turtle, and it's a massive push. Out comes the blade. We've got the Juno Ray, but Faye still quite off the beat. The Team Bomb does catch Blazer, but it's a bit too late, and Team Rocket are stopped at the start of second this time.
Still, for only a minute, that was an incredible push by Team Rocket, especially with how their first match went. They, I noticed on defense, Team Rocket were holding reasonably further forward. They were trying to give less space to Formless, and Formless were conceding it, letting Rocket push against them, and then just pushing back even harder. So it'll be interesting to see if Rocket is able to stall just that bit more than Formless did, with only 1 minute and 5 seconds on the timer here.
Absolutely. It'll be quite interesting to see, because this first one is still very tough to attack. Now Faye deciding whether to stick the Lucio that they're so known for. and it seems they will. They're going to be rolling out on the same comp on defense this time, Rocket. They need to lengthen these fights, try to take some more favorable cooldown trades, but you've got to be real careful of Blazeth on this Genji. The burst from the Genji Lucio always been incredibly, incredibly strong. And Phantom been doing really well catching people with the slows, even catching out Faye quite a few times with the Nemesis form. So we're really going to see how they choose to take this attack this time. Because last time it was a ball comp that won them the point. But now starting off on the Ram from the very start.
Yeah, absolutely. And Formless coming out here, not choosing to do the Juno Tech Team Rocket have been doing. And they're probably going to try and rotate through this room here to the side. It's an interesting choice against a D.Va. It's not quite as good as against a Ramatra. But, I mean, Formless not, or Rocket not choosing to commit here probably makes a lot of sense. If you commit there as D.Va, you're just going to get car washed, except against two DPS you may as well. Memory Chicken managing to get a kill onto Dex, Fam getting one onto Blaze, and that is going to be almost a one fight, as that was an incredible dive from the side of Team Rocket, waiting for their opponents to just overcommit and leave their backline hanging.
A really nice fight there from Team Rocket. Really good patience from the side of them as well. They saw the rotation by 3 members, the Ram, the Genshin, and the Lucio. But that just leaves the Kiri and the Sojourn alone in a room with a D.Va who can fly on them, just as free as that. And they catch them really nicely. Sneaky Turtle off to the side, looking for maybe the touch. Blazeth does get it. But that is dash.
Doom swap!
To deflect. Doom swap this time from Formless, and Phantom's dead already. It's just staggered touches in the respawn, trying to juggle point and the offense that they're receiving this time from Rocket. And Mommy Chicken's just taking over on point. And it's going to be a very nice defense and a point this time. The map went over to Team Rocket. Really solid stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Chicken able to just roost on the point there, stop any of their opponents taking that space and pushing onto it. Really strong turnaround from Rocket here. After that first match, I wasn't sure if this was going to go to more than 3 games, but Rocket have shown that they're a real competitor here, and just what they're capable of when they get locked in, when the stakes are highest, they rise to meet them, and they can really do wonderful things.
That was a really nice defense on their side in the overtime. And obviously, the attack was so smooth. Usually in Barney, we see on first point, it's very, very hard to capture. The defender's advantage so incredibly strong. But it seems they managed to just about catch Sneaky Turtle, maybe a bit overextended on the sides to start off. And they managed to pick off these players one by one. And at the very end, it's just Phantom all by his lonesome left on point, doing his best to stand there with the arms crossed. And yeah, Team Rocket take it.
Now we can see the stats overall and a big shift from that first game. First game, it was heavily leaning towards Formless. Now Team Rocket have managed to pull it up quite a lot. And I mean, they are looking slightly worse overall, but they've definitely done God's work there, switching up the actual statistics overall between those 2 games. The average eliminations and deaths and everything are way closer, a lot tighter.
Yeah, as a map win goes by for each of the sides, each of the teams in this bracket, the stats do look a whole lot closer, and it's really nice to see evened up. Obviously, showing how well Team Rocket were doing there in comparison to the first map, where it seemed quite a domination on the second sub map there for Team Formless. But now it's going to be their map pick, it's going to be their ban pick, so probably going to choose a place that's much more favorable to them, and it's going to be much tougher this time, I believe, for Team Rocket to do what they did like this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Formless have now chosen to play on Circuit Royale. That's really gotta suck if you're Rocket. You were just destroying them on dive. They've now got the least dive map in the game. It's probably the most unique in terms of how teams approach this map in organized play, because no other meta really do you see Lifeweaver being played. Yet he's quite common on this map because fights are long, and if you're on defense, that's so useful to you.
Yeah, we've seen the Lifeweaver quite a few times on this map in organized play, and been very strong, usually with a BAP Lifeweaver composition, able to really go for the Giga Sustain type of comp, able to not only kill your team, but we're just going to live through everything you throw at us. And by the time you've used all your resources, we'll be able to clean you up nice and easy.
Yeah,
Nice and easy, like. But you also see comps such as Sigbap Hilari, incredibly pokey, got so much forward damage, so much forward potential, a lot of sustain, able to use these long angles. This might be the map, if any map, you're going to see a double flex DPS line. Oh, well, double flex backline, I should say,
yeah,
because usually we see the main support of Lucio or Brig or something of the sort. Potentially a Juno, still very
yeah,
strong map for Juno, but obviously with the nerfs to her glide boost, not able to AD strafe as effectively as
yeah,
before, and left feeling a bit too vulnerable up in the sky compared to before.
yeah. Absolutely. But I mean, Juno's an interesting character because, like Lucio, like Kiri, her movement's very finicky. It's very strategic, and at high level play, players will have like a specific keyboard that's, I think it's linear, and it means that the keys are a bit more pressure sensitive, and it's much more responsive when they are strafing side to side and everything. So I'm really excited to see if they're able to manipulate Juno, if they play Juno at all, properly with that. And I mean, you're looking at a speed support here. Juno's probably your best bet. She has just a little bit more range. She has a little bit more threat than Lucio, and wall riding is not good on this map.
Yeah, obviously with the map being so open and like essentially just one lane, you're all forced down this huge long sideline for basically all the first point. It does get a bit easier for I'd say Lucio comps when it comes to second and third, but on the
Yeah,
whole, bit of a struggle for him. But you can definitely still play him, like for sure, in organized play, of course.
yeah. And I mean, I believe last time we saw Team Rocket playing, they last point chose to just completely circumnavigate their opponents and fight on the high ground, which is a really interesting choice. But it actually worked really well. It basically allowed them to get a load of free distance on the objective, and then their opponents had to either fully commit to the top or be split. And when you're split, not pushing, it just allows your opponents to focus on you so much and break you down.
For sure. We've seen quite a few different takes from lots of teams. I've been seeing a lot of Sim recently to break open first point.
Yeah.
Got a lot of damage. Incredible stuff. It seems we have the band now in place for the map. Seems both
I
teams may have chosen bands.
Yeah. So Formless have banned May, and then Rocket have banned Lucio. Interesting choice here, especially from the Lucio. Lucio's not very good on this map, but he's good in compositions. um,
Yeah,
like Brawl.
especially with
Brawl's
the
pretty decent on this map. Generally pretty played because of the types of off DPS that are meta.
Yeah, I like the May ban this time from Formless because May can definitely bully the tank, help the frontline trade massively, using the walls to isolate, and especially with the major perks that May gets, you're able to just freeze a target long enough if you've been using primary fire on them, and that's essentially a death sentence to nearly all the tanks, especially the ones that are going to be played this time on Circuit Royale.
Yeah, I mean, May is really good on this map. The ability to wall off objectives, wall off opponents, potentially, is so threatening. Formless here on defense, looking to go Hanzo Widow. I know Hanzo did just get buffed, so his logs are even bigger, but that's a
This is
that's a choice.
this is an incredibly pokey comp from Formless on the
Yeah,
defense. The Hanzo Widow going for the long range poke, the long range spam, especially the Baccalari to help with this, and the Sigma to anchor all together. There's going to be a lot of damage this time coming into Mommy Chicken. It seems Team Rocket are also on the flex support backline with the Ana Ilari. So they've got their nade turns, and they've even got a Sim to make things a bit trickier for this comp.
oh, and I mean it's working. Being able to get a kill onto a tank from that far away so early on is incredibly impressive. And Formless really know how to play on this map. They're using that Sigma shield just to block off any sightlines onto their snipers so they can just farm kills. And without a shield tank on the side of Rocket, it's difficult to block them off, it's difficult to block off those sightlines. And what the hell was that?
A fantastic pick there from Diron on the Hanzo, using the Storm Arrow bounce to catch Pocket's win on the Zen here. We're really seeing the damage that can come out from this comp because it is incredibly strong. Mommy Chicken swapping over the Sigma. The Orisa, even the Orisa taking so much damage in that first fight, just popped like a balloon so fast.
Yeah, absolutely. And that nerf to her health, or to her survivability, really showing through and hitting them before you jump over the thing. This is incredible, honestly. Just the amount of tech and just placement of those arrows is so incredible, so impressive. And it's been made a whole lot easier this last patch.
For sure, of any map that you were going to play Hanzo, Circuit is still absolutely one of the most favorable to the character. And he's got so much pressure. With the Sonic Arrow, Arapaima knows where to find Fam. So even the ability to just have walls on the enemy team is so strong. And here comes another pick from Diron on the Hanzo, onto Zen. Pocket's win, having probably not the best of times right now into this comp. But we've got some ults on the board now.
Absolutely not. Interesting choice from Ravager on the side of Team Rocket to go onto Farah there. I'm not sure if it's the best choice. I know there's some poke potential, but you kind of have to get a good angle, go over the building, and that just takes so long. But Rocket have managed to push Formless back just a little bit. That is going to give Farah an opportunity to poke here, but they're going to get sniped out of their peak. And I mean, it makes sense. You can't peek the same spot so many times against two snipers. You're just going to die. And the Sigma here coming out from the side of Formless, going to manage to get a kill onto Diron. And they've made progress. Rocket seem to be taking it.
Yeah, it was a nice push there from Rocket, but the trades have been really good from the side of Formless. But ultimately, this push with Fam at the head and the Zen damage from Pocket Swing, now that they're able to swing into the right angle, it secures first point from them. And not seeing any ults coming back from Formless because they just got picked off, they got staggered one by one, unable to really get an effective recontest, especially with no speed, of course. Once you lose that side, once you lose that hold, it's going to be much trickier to ever get it back.
Yeah, absolutely. We're now seeing that Rocket have already pushed halfway up onto this objective as Formless finally regroup for a fight, finally trying to take the objective, take point, and try to take some damage. And I mean, brilliant job from the Sigma on the side of Rocket here, able to push up so far and hold so much space for their team, blocking off their opponents and just not letting them get those angles they need. But the 2K from Phantom with ult is going to be incredible, and finally a Widow snipe.
A nice attack there from Rocket, but obviously without the Tranquil, without the Zen ult, the Trank, no one is able to live the Flux, especially with the percentage damage it does, and the follow-up is too strong this time from Formless. Now looking to set up these longer angles, they still have the Widows, they still have the Hanzo, so this walk-up for Team Rocket should be quite rough if Formless are able to take advantage of the distance they have right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're going to see Ravager there just hiding underneath the building, trying to find an angle, trying to find an opportunity to teleport. And I don't think Formless have quite blocked them. Fam destroying it, Liari's healing, but as soon as they're about to get that flank, the Widow ult comes out, managing to get a kill onto Faye, and the Liari ult mirrors it, but it's only going to get one kill, and 2 kills have been caught for the side of Rocket here. It's not looking great for Formless. I don't think Dex is going to be able to clutch up here with the Sigma.
Phantom needs to live now. It's in last fight territory and he's unable to live, so it seems like this recontest is going to be so tricky. Nobody on Formless's comp is actually able to stand on point, and it seems the second is going to go the way of Rocket as well with that big ult fight. Haven't seen the window yet from Kofku, so got to keep an eye on this. He's been cooking this for quite a while.
Formless really playing how you're expected to on defense on this map, where you don't play to win fights, you play to school them for as long as you can. And we're seeing it here, they've only got 2 minutes 20 left on the timer. It's pretty good, it's working pretty well. And just blocking off this high ground here, going to make it really difficult for Formless to push, or for Rocket to push that far up to their opponents, with the Iari having that flank just locked down.
Yeah, we saw an attempt from Team Rocket, swinging with the OC, catching Phantom, choosing to push in, and Pyko coming in on Tracer, but ultimately not finding too much, even with the pulse. We saw Mommy Chicken float on up, but ultimately gets absolutely blown up from all the damage from all the different angles.
What?
And it's a lovely fadeaway shot from Theron onto Pocket, so probably a bit tired of tying to the hard zone at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every time they buff Hanzo's arrows, everyone's just like, why? And you can't blame them. It's gotta be painful to just get one shot by a guy you can't even see anymore.
For sure, but we've got both DPS pushing the side angle here, and it seems with the Iari down, with Arapaima taking that aggressive angle, it's Ravager and Fam who managed to clean up the side. We've got Ult still to hold on, we've still got the window, but it's Phantom who's fallen. Kofku unable to keep them alive. We've got a Dragon in spawn, hoping to hold off on point to zone them up a bit further.
No!
And out
Oh,
comes
the
the
touch.
Trank as a more of a victory pose, a victory Trank, you'd say. And it's Team Rocket who managed to push through all the way to third in the end.
Yeah,
It seems
absolutely.
Kofku unable to find the timing for this window, really not able to hold the right angle, and it's the ult just never really got used from what I
Yeah.
saw.
I mean, we saw the power that double. It's not technically DPS or double, not technically hit scan, but it kind of is. Hit scan composition had at the start of the game, but once Formless figured out how to play against it, how to just slowly encroach and take angles and clear them over time, it showed it wasn't that strong of a team because Hanzo and Widow fulfill a very similar role and purpose on a team to the point where you have less versatility within your composition. You don't have someone who can dive, you don't have someone with a lot of CC potential. You're just hoping that they don't take corners properly, they don't push you in the right way, and they clearly showed that Rocket were able to learn how to. They've got 50 seconds left on the clock, but Formless could very easily pull this back still.
For sure. The strengths of these heroes, like Hanzo, his incredibly strong neutral, the ability to just one-shot people straight off the bat with these headshots. The same goes for Widow with a lower HP, and it's reflected in why their ults aren't as good compared to other heroes, because their neutrals are so incredibly strong. The ability to just one-shot people right off the bat with no counterplay has always been incredibly strong, and that's how they balance them. Now we've got, on the attack, they're still sticking the same comp here with the, well, not the Sig actually, going out on the Ram Papillary against the Sig comp this time from Rocket. This time, Rocket's on the Ana, looking for nade timings, looking to sleep the Ram, make life a bit harder.
Yeah, and Rocket looking to see that Brig was banned and still running Ana with Faye on Iari to protect him instead. It's honestly not a terrible play. You've got that healing totem, you've got the ability to pressure your opponents properly, that it can work, especially with that boot. And Formless are just going to be slowly taking space here, managing to push up that little bit. Ramatra is almost dead, but is saved by Immortality Field.
A nice push back there from Rocket, holding the strong corner. Paiku doing a lot on Tracer to keep the backline busy, but it's Dex who managed to catch Faye on the peak, and the effects of the Ramatra and the Hanzo pressure in the front line too strong, and it's Mommy Chicken who falls. So Formless taking a step forward, looking to maybe catch any backliners, but obviously Rocket have taken a very quick step back, looking to hope for a recontest it.
Now, if you're Formless here, it sounds weird, but I think you push up quite far here because you make so much space for your DPS, and they really needed to be able to get those headshots. The lack of a high ground here on the side of Formless is not going to advantage them at all. But, I mean, it's already been conceded, and it worked. Rocket really pushed up, really managing to get 4 kills early on in the fight there. That was an Immortality Field popped for them, and a Dragon Strike, but that was it.
Yeah, we saw Pyko try his best to touch on the Tracer, but recall forced up so early from all the spam, from all the angles they have on Cart. We saw Mommy Chicken drop to Cart, but the Ram able to just use his Nemesis form, straight punch through the shield, and all the pressure from the different spots he has to take. Pocket Swing goes for a peek with Nano, but still just gets one shot, obviously, by the Widow.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to see Rocket here just trying to find some angles, trying to find some kills. But Formless really controlling so much space here that they're going to be able to deal a lot of damage to their opponent's immortality field instantly destroyed. But it does just about save the tank's life. And now the Sigma with the Nano really pushing up forward, managing to get 2 kills in total with Taiku on, or Saiku on the Tracer, just managing to get a load of kills and a load of damage off. Dex is looking low and is killed by Faye in the end. And Rocket have retaken the point, but it's at the top.
It feels like quite an expensive pushback too. That was Nano. That was well, Faye's obviously over to the Zen instead of the Alari, so we're not going to see that. And that was the Sigil. Now for this next turn, Diron's already off the Hanzo onto the Genji for this much more punishable backline. A lot easier for Genji get in and also get out. We've got to watch this Ram ult from Phantom and the Captive Sun, this time from Arapaima, into no defensive ults from Rocket.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to see Formless, or Rocket instantly popping Fam's ult there, trying to get a kill before their opponents can really pressure them back, really force them to play the game differently. Dion managing to get a kill onto Saiku, as this is just kind of a trade back and forth slowly over time, this fight so far. The Rocket managing to get some chip damage, managing to deny space from their opponents, but ultimately Formless or Rocket are going to recede the objective and recede space, hoping to retake in just a minute, just waiting.
Gotta look out for this Annihilation on this next turn. Faye still has the Trank and has to pop it a bit earlier than you'd like. The Annihilation is still going. Diron's gonna have this blade very soon. Out comes the Ilariel and Phantom falls. Kofku doesn't have the window in time. The Ilariel's big enough to get a kill on Faye, but ultimately not to follow.
What?
Still
oh my god!
Still thinks it's winnable, but does fall at the very end. A very nice pulse there from Paiku. Does catch both backliners, and Team Rocket hold on second.
And I mean, both teams have one support ult here. Formless is close to having Widow ult, but it's not that good. It provides a little bit of info, especially against, but when you're not against divers, there's not much point to it. I really thought that Formless should have combined Revenant, Ramatril and Captive Sun there, just to deal so much burst damage to their opponents. And the Bat Window comes out immediately, but Bat gets countered himself. So that's going to leave Formless without much healing to do.
Faye with a really nice 6 ult through the window, and it's Kofku who falls as they pop the ult that they've been sitting on for a while. It's a nice push here now from Rocket, hoping to catch these staggers. It's a nice nade onto Dex, and we'll see if Phantom can even get out at this point. Just about manages to get out, still has Nemesis form if he needs. It's going to be another quick reset from Formless. Got a minute left on the clock now, and Rocket still have this Nano, still have this grab, have managed to farm up to some new ults. Mult bank massively in the favor of Rocket here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to see the Widow does come out here, just trying to find an attack onto their opponents, trying to find some value. Isn't quite going to manage it, but Dex is just taking angles really wide here and manages to get the kill onto Ravager. That was potentially going to be a big fight and a big loss for Formless if they lost that, but instantly shutting it down, so advantageous. The overclock coming out here from Fam, going to try to find some damage, going to try to find some value, is able to finally get it, and is now just pushing against their opponents, stacking up so much damage. That is already looking half in this fight, but they are going to retreat with the Discord Orb onto their opposing Ramatra. Isn't going to find much value as Team Rocket have held the objective with 1 second left.
They weather the storm, and it's Team Rocket who take the win on Circuit Royale. And remember, this was Team Formless's map pick. This was their first ban pick, and they looked so good, but unable to close it out at the very end. And it's Team Rocket who take the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the advantage and the power of being able to win on on your opponent's map pick is so strong. It's so useful because it gives you a massive advantage in the set. It's really kind of just a power play of, hey, we're better than you.
For sure. If I'm going to bring in some tennis theory, You've broken the opponent's serve. You've taken the set that was meant to be theirs, and now all the power is in your hands. You're really pushing them to the ropes now. So, Formless, with their series on the line at this point, they're going to have to choose carefully with their maps, with their band picks. And
Yeah,
here's the
absolutely.
scorecard
I mean,
for
all
this
I want to
round.
know is where has this Team Rocket been? The first game, they are so good. They are really fighting as a unit. They're fighting. They're communicating and taking angles really efficiently, really effectively, and really like they know how to force fights that are advantageous to them. They might not always win them, but they're winning most of them. And I mean, it the stats are even closer now. It's really just kind of neck and neck overall, and it shows how much Team Rocket have been able to bring this back overall. And looking into the next map, it is going to be push. So interesting choice as to whether it's going to be. Uh, oh, here we see it's New Queen Street. Honestly, my favorite push map. It's got a lot of angles. It's got a lot of opportunities, and it works with poke and dive quite well, which we just saw poke from both teams, and it works really well for both of them. Kind of, they both played really well that match.
Yeah, very good from both sides. But with the new Queen Street, one hero comes to mind, and it is the Wrecking Wheel. We did see Phantom put out the ball on Nimbani, and New Queen Street, arguably the best ball map in the entire game. So massively favorable for this character. So if anything, I think we might see them lean more into the ball potentially. It's a bit too open for every other ground tank. It's a bit too wide. There's too many angles. The sightlines are super long. If you're really going to lean into ball anywhere, it's going to be New Queen Street for sure. But obviously, we're going to see what the bans may also be at some point. But this new
Yeah,
Queen Street, I'm absolutely sure that Formless is going to choose to play the Wrecking Wheel here. What do you think
I
Team Rocket might play?
honestly, I'm not sure. I know that like brawl characters like the Ramatra, like the uh, Queen are really good on here. But you know what else is really good on here? Winston. They could play Winston. And I think Winston's even better on this map than they were on another. Tanks really thrive in this environment because it's both a lot of mobility based tanks thrive in this environment because it's got a lot of close encounters areas and in between them long distances. So being able to close them, force your opponents into a small room, and then light them up is such an effective choice, and it works so reliably.
Absolutely. Winston's still quite strong, and especially in this map of all the places that you might choose to play a dive, it should be this map. It could potentially see it brawl. Um, if we're going to see Team Rocket play Winston, I think it'd definitely be here of all places. But I feel like I've seen a lot of slower comps with the Winston here on the new Queen Street. You think we might see an Anna Brig after all this time?
I mean, maybe Anna Brig is really good on this map because divers really like it. There's that central corridor you can take, and just having a Brig to be like absolutely not to a Genji or a Tracer is so strong. I believe her shield bash is on like a 5 second cooldown, and it's so good at just denying enemy opportunity and creating space as a support for your Anna, who's really going to thrive in that environment, really going to allow from range to heal your team and pressure your opponents.
Absolutely. And now it seems like we may have had the bans in from both sides. So it also means that the map is also about to start very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And the choice to ban Orisa here from Formless, interesting. Orisa is pretty good on this map and is so annoying to fight, in my opinion.
I
But
think this might be more of a tank protect from Formless. If they left the tank ban open, I think Team Rocket could very well have banned the ball here. But by choosing to protect Wrecking Ball, I might still be wrong about this, but in my opinion, by choosing to protect Wrecking Ball, Team Rocket have chosen to ban the Genji that we've seen Blazef and also Daron be so good on.
yeah, absolutely. And I hope you've called this. I hope there's a wrecking ball because Wrecking Ball is such a fun character. He's really strong. He's able to do quite a lot to their opponents, and he's so unintuitive as a character. He is really good being at being able to hit through enemy teams and then just escape. And it's like that shouldn't work. You're not protecting your team. But the best defense is a good offense. But we are going to see the Queen mirror match here, and I believe that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, Queen. After we saw in the Nepal, I wasn't sure we'd ever see a Queen, especially in New Queen Street. It's so wide open. Queen really at the mercy of hit scans, has to play very carefully from cover to cover, has to use the shout to engage / disengage. We're going to see speed comps on either side, and honor this time from Team Rocket, and a cast compared to the Kiri and the Surge on the side of Formless.
Yeah, absolutely. Cassidy, a really strong choice here, especially on this map. Good in that mid to close range, but still a hit scan DPS. Still able to apply a lot of pressure, and both teams choosing to take the high ground here, knowing the advantage it can hold, and it's going to force a fight that's just off the objective initially. Lucio potentially looking for a boot off the map, doesn't quite find it, but that is going to give Formless some advantage, some creep onto their opponents, and the attempt at retaking the point, retaking the angle here, Fan managing to get a kill onto Sneaky Turtle, really denying that Lucio's dive and Lucio's movement, as now it's not looking great for Team Rocket. Formless having a big advantage here, having pushed up so far into their opponent's backline.
Really finding tough life, life tough for the Ana here in comparison to the Kiri, who's a lot more free to take these angles, to get away and also get some value. It seems the cart is being stolen by the Lucio and the Tracer duo on cart, but it's Leon who manages to catch the Ana. And without that same social healing, just being worn down over time, it's Mommy checking on the Genji, on the Queen, I should say, who falls, and Dex is just cleaning up the kills. Seems to be a quick step back from Fam, and a nice reset from Team Rocket for this next fight.
Yeah, Formless saw that they were being given space, Rocket were pushed back, and they very well could have chosen to push and dive their opponents, but instead they chose the more strategic choice almost, to just take and move the objective. And it's safer in a lot of ways. If you lose the fight, you don't lose that progress, and if you win it, you make so much more. They're already at the first objective as Kiriko ultimate is pushed out alongside the overclock, is going to manage to get 2 kills on the side of Formless, a 3rd from Queen there, and Tracer is looking so low. They are 1 health, just able to escape, and Fam is going to kill Dairon, but Sneaky Turtle kills Fam in exchange.
That's still a very nice trade from Fam there. Not able to hold as aggressively as before without the Tracer to mark the flanks, to mark the sides, or even juggle point. You got Sneaky Turtle up on the left, gotta be really careful to live here. But we've got ults on either side, and pockets over to the Kiri compared to the Ana now. So we're seeing a mirror this time apart from the Surge here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you're on the side of Formless now, you know you don't have to win fights, you just have to extend them, you just have to delay them. And of course, winning them would be great. But they've got further than a lot of teams will get at all in most push games. And so it's really, really good, just as a testament to the capabilities of this team, and they're finally being able to find a map, find a meta that they're able to exploit to their advantage, it feels.
Yeah, we've seen beats traded in the spawn of Rocket. We saw the Queen ult out from Phantom, quickly pushed back by Mommy Chicken, but the kills were too good. Fighting in their spawn, still gonna find it tricky. We've had the Kitsu in spawn too. Still, if you're Formless, you're quite happy with this. Forcing the Kitsu in the enemy spawn when you're 100 meters up is still very, very crucial. They're not going to have it for this next fight. So a quick disengage here from Team Formless, looking for their next opportunity. And our Primate is already so close to another Kitsu. Looking forward to see that in the next fight.
Absolutely. We're now seeing Formless try to retake here, try to push back, and Rocket have only just actually made progress on the objective, and it is not much. The point is now being contested. Tracer Pulse Bomb does come out, but it gets countered by Suzu, and mobility away from the away from the ultimate. And now Dex is really looking like they have the advantage here, able to take away their opponent's power. Phantom getting the kill onto Mommy Chicken with the axe, and I mean, it looks like a one fight for Formless yet again. They're pushing the robot still further up, every time they manage to get it back to where it was, that's an entire fight's worth of progress for the side of Rocket that they need to recover.
That was a huge late kill onto Fam, so without the hit scan pressure, and with 3 ults in hand, Team Formless can choose to push this even further if they'd like, or maybe just take a dry fight, try and force some ults out in the enemy spawn, and choose to invest a bit later. Choosing not to invest here, Phantom going in super deep, and they're happy to just take this a bit slower and disengage, look for a fight elsewhere.
I mean, 5 minutes left in the clock. Formless seem to be accepting that trying to push up all the way is just going to be a big use of ultimate resources and their economy. And so instead they're going to play it very safe. It's arguably riskier, but in a way also safer. It means they've got to hold for 5 minutes, yes, but they get such an advantage because if every fight your opponents are having to use ults, and only every other fight you're using ults, you can really yield so much advantage and so much progress.
Yeah, so in that fight at least we saw the pushback from Team Rocket, and it's Faye who goes so deep, but it's a bit of miscommunication. He's left in alone, and Lucio quickly collapsed on, and the pushback from Team Formless without the Lucio on the side of Team Rocket to disengage, they get quickly cleaned up here. Gotta watch this overclock now from Dex, looking for something. Out comes the shout, out comes the Kitsu, and also a pulse bomb thrown in too. But no one falls except Mommy Chicken, who still had Rampage. Sneaky Turtle holding on to his feet, Phantom falls in response, looking for this Tracer, and Sneaky Turtle does manage to get the kill here. Suzu on and B out, choosing to push their advantage here. Phage finally choosing Chimera, but it's only a 2-man B, and Pocket doesn't get it. Pocket falls. So it's just the Surge and the Lucio trying to hold on as best they can. Faye still in the corner, trying to worm his way out. Does get caught by the rail in the end. And Team Formless taking another fight win here.
Yeah, absolutely. Formless playing honestly incredibly here. And the Sojourn using the knife pull just to move that little bit better, that slightly stronger rotate into threatening the enemy Tracer. And the Queen Ult will come out here, but the Tracer Bomb managing to stick to Faye is going to be a big advantage. And both Lucios out of the match now. This is... all ults have been used on both teams, and it looks like Formless have managed to gain the advantage here. This is just going to be rotates onto the objective to stall from the side of Rocket for the rest of the game. Pockets were managing to take out Dairon, but Lucio just managing to touch his Faye, and the dive onto the back line, just able to get a kill, just able to find a lot of value, and 3 minutes left of the clock as Rocket have retaken the objective, but they still haven't touched the point at all on their end.
Absolutely, we've seen a very, very good fight, consistently fight after fight from Formless. Mommy Chicken now over to the Hog to make it just that easier potentially. We're going to see how this goes on, and it's a nice early hook onto Phantom, and it instantly blown up. Really seeing the value of Hog just from that first fight, and it's going to be a quick reset from the side of Formless.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible performance and incredible plays from both teams here, especially Formless though. They're not touching here, they're actually giving their opponents just a little bit of space, but very clearly looking for an opening, looking for a weakness in the strategy, in the play here, and Phantom really needs to touch here. They've made a reasonable amount of progress, probably waiting for them to peek around this corner. Roadhog has now used Hook, and Mommy Chicken actually making a really clever swap here. It denies your opponents taking space because it's so much riskier if they're just going to get hooked and punished so hard for it.
We've seen mirrored OCs from either side, and the beat from Sneaky Turtle's perfect to save Dex from the hook, and the pushback is just a bit too strong from the side. Faye falls in response, doesn't have the beat in time, and this Hog is just getting farmed on point. It was a nice OC mirror from Fam, does catch a kill, but ultimately it's Formless who win out the fight in the long run here. But still 39 meters on the board, it's a lot better than none as compared to before for Team Rocket.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Roadhog is good into no shield comps, but when you have Banter, when you have a Junker Queen who's able to leech off of high health heroes so effectively, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, without really getting the hooks here, it's going to be tough for the Hog comp to get as much value as before, but it's Fam with the opening pick onto Sneaky Turtle. Dex quickly responds in kind and catches Paiku just like that. And we've got a Kitsu and the Rampage in. The anti-heal is so big, and Faze on a sliver of health does die to the anti, chooses not to invest the B in time. And we're looking at a potential full tap here. from the side of Formless. Team Rocket are dropping like flies on the objective, and they still have these ults, but is there anyone even alive to touch?
No, they managed to do it. Team Rocket have finally, Formless, sorry, have finally taken that objective after minutes of toying with their opponents, having so many close calls and just choosing not to fully commit in a lot of them, or taking space, almost like not really intending to, just intending to stall a fight, intending to wait their opponents out. But that is going to put this at a 2-2. I believe the next game is our tiebreaker. This has been an intense best of three.
Absolutely.
Or
But I
first of three.
think first of three. I think now, if you're Team Rocket, at least on the Brawl Mirror, they lost on the Nepal. And on the Brawl Mirror, again, they've lost on the Queen Street. And it was a dominant showing by Team Formless. So now the last map pool, of course, or the last mode left available is going to be the Flashpoint. And Flashpoint heavily favors Brawl one more time. So even with the map pick, maybe you're able to choose between the Flashpoints we have available. The comp seems kind of stuck. Do you think they'll be able to force a dive on some of the Flashpoints?
I think if you're on Sarabasa, it's way better for dive and poke more than Brawl. Brawl is still really good on Sarabasa. It's you need those speed characters and you need to be able to take space really quickly and effectively. However, I am excited to see how these teams approach it. And we saw when Team Rocket have done well, they've done well with the poke, with the longer range compositions, and we've still not seen Winston. I really want to see Winston because it's kind of their signature, and they've in the past been able to exploit it really well.
Yeah, I think that's mainly because they don't have your welcome here, I believe. And obviously now we're looking at the stats now from this side, and you can see it's leaning over to Formless now, with the average elimination is a bit high, the final blows, the average deaths obviously lower. Yeah, really evening up the scores now. Slight favor of the stats to Formless due to the maps they won early on in the series. And obviously, with that Queen Street, new Queen Street, the fights that Rocket won, it felt like we're in their own spawn because of how far they were pushed back, having to ult, having to use these strong abilities, and unable to use them when it comes to the fights that matters, when it comes to putting meters on the board in the push game mode.
Absolutely, it's got to be rough facing that. I believe we are just going to cut to a short break, but be sure to stay tuned for this final game. It is going to be something to watch. These are two very close run teams.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely catch you after the break, it seems like, as we're going to be heading into our map 5 as soon as everything is ready from both our sides. And I guess we'll see you again soon, pretty soon. Alrighty, welcome back, everyone. We're back straight into map 5 of our lovely series between Formless and Team Rocket. Though I say that before we do get to that, I'm Val, and obviously we have Azuse over here as our lovely other caster.
Yeah, honestly, this has been a great set to cast so far. It's so much fun, so much back and forth, and such a strong display of both teams' strengths and weaknesses. They've been really able to shine where they need to. Every player has, even uh, even I believe it was Formless's Lucio at one point just kept getting kills.
Oh, Sneaky Turtle, always good for it in the end. Always good for it. Um, yeah, for this map 5, it's gonna be quite interesting. I believe we have a player comparison card coming up pretty soon.
Yes, this is between the two hit scan DPS, so Dex and FAMN for each team. We're seeing that Dex for Team Rocket having that slight edge in eliminations, and Dex less damageable. Definitely a more efficient killer, a more efficient player.
We've been seeing like a really good back and forth between Dex and Fam on the hit scan rolls. Like especially in that last map, Dex would get a pick onto someone, maybe perhaps the Tracer, and Fam would instantly like shoot back straight with a pick of their own. Overall, it was obviously Formless winning the fights, but we've seen this predominantly throughout the series. Fantastic work from both hit scans, and it seems like hoping to see more of this back and forth, especially in the last map, the map 5, the big decider to decide who wins and loses here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm honestly surprised Formless's hats aren't just a little bit higher from that escort map on second round. Now we are seeing Flashpoint has been chosen Surabasa by Team Rocket. I was kind of anticipating this. I believe they're going to want to run Dive as opposed to Bull, which is generally favoured on Flashpoint, especially New Drink City.
For sure, for sure. I do think a big thing about this is perhaps the Orisa ban. I was leaning more towards it being to stop the ball, but with Orisa available, I think Queen's life is a lot harder.
Yeah, and we're going to see the bans here on Juno and on Sojourn. Sojourn has been played every game so far, clearly very dominant, and to be fair, she's really strong in the current meta. She's able to deal a lot of damage and has such high burst. Then Juno on the other side is pretty clever. She's got some really good range, which is kind of needed on Saravasa. There's a lot of longer, more open areas, and her speed is so useful for just rotating teams around the map with it being so big.
Yeah, I think perhaps this is also a targeted ban by Formless on the Juno, choosing to ban Juno to force, if you want to play a speed comp, you are going to have to play the same Lucio Kiri that they looked super comfortable on when you think of the new Queen Street, when you think of the Nepal as well. So hoping to maybe favor them a bit more with that ban. But it was a very nice ban on the Sojourn from the side of Team Rocket there. Maybe leaning towards the Freya as the hit scan. Who would you choose
I,
if not Freya?
I just realised I muted in video, so none of you could hear me. Let me quickly recap everything I said in the past 5 minutes. Of course, I'm joking. I'm not going to do that. But the teams are now rolling out, coming out onto their opponents.
Yeah, we're seeing a Diva comp this time from Rocket, the one they saw like great success on Umbani with. We're seeing another Queen comp this time from Formless. Diron on the Genji, Dex on the Freya, so Freya mirror here. But we've got Taiku on the Tracer looking for something right now. Dex onto the onto Fam. Bolts exchange.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's Sneaky Turtle who falls first. Arapira falling very soon afterwards. And it seems just about that Team Rocket are managed to clean up, making sure nobody's traded, and they cleanly take the first fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Faye, we see getting a kill again. Sneaky Turtle's normally the one getting the kills here, but Rocket have taken first point in the first fight. Tex choosing to jump off the map. Still going to be a heavy stagger for them, and returning to the fight later. But if Rocket can manage to get a kill early on in this fight, it will give Formless a big advantage numbers-wise overall here.
We can already see how much work Fam is putting in. Already 85 to the Freya ult. One of the fastest charging ults in the game for sure. Set up on this high ground. It seems Team Formless are looking to take it from this left side, trying to work their way in, get out some cooldowns, bleed out some HP from D.Va.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a really interesting ult because you get it so fast you use it almost recklessly, and if you get one kill from it, it's like really useful regardless of who you killed with it. Whereas a lot of kills, it's or a lot of ults, it's generally considered to be low value if you only get one kill with it, especially if it's like, oh, you've just killed a DPS who's got 2 kills on your backline already. But that is going to be the first flashpoint taken by Rocket, now trying to rotate to the second point.
Absolutely, and that was only for the price of a single Frail. All the other ults not quite on board just yet, still need to be cooked a bit more in the oven, so to speak. And we've got Fam taking an aggressive angle, looking for someone to get bolts on. It seems Team Formless coming out this top left.
Absolutely.
And
I believe we both started talking, then couldn't decide who was
Yes.
talking.
No,
Now
absolutely. You go
the
ahead.
D.Va pushing out with the Kiriko ultimate now, trying to find some value, trying to find some damage. Sneaky Tickle managing to get a kill onto Faye. That is going to leave Formless at a healing advantage overall this fight, and the D.Va bomb will come out. Isn't going to manage to find a kill. It is going to push their opponents back a little bit. Phantom getting a kill onto Fam as Saiku gets one onto deck, and Pocket Swin does die. Dryon just falling though.
It's still an absolute dogfight here on point. Sneaky Turtle can choose to invest B if he so desires, but decides to just let it go. And it's a quick recontest and a cap at this time for Team Rocket in this next fight. But we've got beat advantage from Sneaky Turtle. We have the Kitsu. We even have the Queen ult now. So it's going to be quite hard for Rocket if Formless are able to get into the right positions here and set this up a bit better.
Yeah, Fam, the only ult Rocket really has this fight, and it's probably the weakest in the lobby. That's really going to hurt the odds that Rocket have of winning this fight. Formless, if they're able to recognize their advantage here, are probably going to push quite aggressively and push quite far up, but that is going to be Dex falling early onto the Tracer, even with her nerfs to her spread, and the pulse bomb will come out. Isn't going to quite find a kill as Ryan gets Anubis, but 70% on the point already for Team Rocket. Even though they lost the fight, have they really lost?
No, that was like a very nice way to take the fight, but ultimately the thing that surprised me most was Mommy Chicken flying in with the D.Va boosters, and it's Sneaky Turtle with the boop off the map. So Tank lost so early and still managed to keep the fight going quite a bit longer, leading out to 77%. But we still have these ults now, and Team Rocket have built up to their own, but it is Paiku who's caught early by the Queen. We've got bolts inside, choosing to push this advantage, still have beat if they choose to invest here. Swinging out, and it's Dex who gets caught in the corner. Darren manages to catch Pocket, and it's Arapaima who manages to catch the Lucio on the exit here. Looking to maybe demech the D.Va. Oh, and it's going to be a little stagger this time onto the D.Va, choosing to kill her now to make sure you really secure this point now.
Yeah. Formless, oh my god, the back cap on the objective from, I believe, Tracer, as Formless now try to rotate back around, and after already really low gets killed by Saiku. That was a brilliant play by Team Rocket, just able to perfectly time it so that their opponents were forced to rotate, and then as Tracer takes so much damage back, I thought they had lost the objective, but now we're 85% and counting. They are probably going to win the second flashpoint.
That's an absolutely, it's a steal there from Team Rocket. A fantastic play to get the back cap without anyone mobile enough to really stop her. The Kiri comes, but has to use all her cooldowns, and without all her cooldowns, just free meat for the Tracer. Really nice pushback from Team Rocket, and honestly, they've stolen away the second flashpoint. Pressure is now on Team Formless to really get the reverse sweep going on the Suravasa.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we're going to see Formless just trying to rotate, trying to push probably through the center here, onto Team Rocket, and it's a really interesting choice here. It's very well defended, but it forces you into close encounters fights. We're going to see the bowler shot and Kiriko Suzu or Kiriko ultimate here coming out onto these teams. I mean, it looks like Formless have managed to take this point early on, even though they look to be at a disadvantage coming in. They were on attack, but with the popping of 3 ultimates, they appear to have taken the objective. Now, Rocket do have an ultimate economy advantage. They have 3 into their opponent's 2. If they can recognize that, they're going to need to save B for the Blade, but it should work, and the Queen Oak does come out, beating that just gives so much overhealth to their team when they cannot heal or recover health that way. And the Genji Blade will come out here trying to find a kill onto a squishy. Isn't quite going to manage it yet, but overall still won't. That is 1 dead on either side, with Rocket, I believe, having a slight disadvantage. Well, having a slight advantage, only having lost a DPS. You can get back to the fight quickly, as opposed to the enemy Lucio. Now we are going to see Gentle Queen trying to find some kill onto this Lucio, and will manage to muster it, but not before sacrificing themselves as well.
But ultimately, the trades still seem to favor Team Formless with that play there. Phantom still getting picked off. But it seems the space made, the cooldowns forced, the positions they've got left in, ultimately enough for Team Formless to win out the fight there. Fantastic work from Diron finishing those kills with the help of Dex and the Arapimer. The Lucio still doing a lot of work. Will we see a touch? I'm afraid not. And this flashpoint goes the way of Team Formless now. Back in the series, still got to push back the other 2 points to really get the win here, though.
Team Rocket absolutely deciding to just rotate to that next point and really set up, really gain an advantage by forcing their opponents to push them. And they have 3 ults, their opponents only have 1, and it's bowler shot. It's not that useful, it's pretty decent, and it comes back quickly, so they're probably going to use it despite bowler shot coming out from both teams here. And Orion is going, Dyron is going to find a kill onto Fab.
It's an Ajax from Sneaky Tail. He may not caught it. Sneaky Tail hits the beat and gets Ajax, but it seems with the double support ult, the Kitsu able to push you back a bit further. You've got a Mary Kitsu, but it just seems a bit too late. And even at the cost of the Ajax, that was a very expensive fight there from Formless. They do manage to get the first half of this point.
Yeah, Formless still not able to, still winning the fight, but not able to offset their ultimate deficit here. Really going to allow Rocket to do a lot here. They're potentially going to use Diva Bomb to engage and force out a rotate from their opponent, which, if they can aim it right on the objective, is going to leave so much space open for Saiku to pulse bomb them in that backline.
Absolutely. We've seen Kiri down already for Team Rocket, but it's Diron who gets traded in return with the beat. But the D-Mech on the Diva is massive.
Oh no!
It's Mommy Chicken who does win out in the 1v1 against Dex. Left on super low HP, but ultimately is cleaned up. Team Formless now looking like they're really back into it. Faye's been a bit slow in charging this beat, and this could be the big turn they need, especially against the Queen ult, especially against the Blade coming up. They're going to have to be really careful about how they choose to mirror these.
I'm really interested to see how this turns out. We have Rocket with 2 points, but Formless 90% already. Rocket are going to have to touch soon, and I mean, it's still relatively low ult economy fight overall in the match, and the Queen ult does come out trying to get a kill onto Diva. Is going to manage to find it, but not before getting briefed into it by Lucio, and that's going to be Phantom hanging and dead. But the Genji will come out here, forcing B, and it is truly just a brawl, just a skirmish between these two teams with no tank to really focus the fight around.
Philip goes the way of Team Rocket here, and Diron is caught on the exit. They're looking to catch these players as they come back in, and Phantom's back in on Doofus, doesn't get fade, but gets traded for. And it seems like after this valiant attempt, Team Formless are going to take a quick step back. Probably back in the Queen, yep. And they're going to set up for this next fight because they have double support ult coming up. And it's only Kiri on the other side of Team Rocket who's getting close to the Kitsune. The beat was used there in return for Blade. There's still an opportunity here.
Yeah, Rocket still, or Formless still trying to rotate onto the objective here, trying to touch and just to find an opportunity. This is literally ride or die for Formless here, as the bowler shot does come out, and Lucio is just getting chased down by Genji. They do not like him, but I don't think Lucio likes them back, and almost getting the kill onto Kiriko. 10 health and does eventually get killed, but not before
That was
distracting the distance for a long time and allowing Sneaky Turtle to get a kill onto Fan. Phantom getting one onto Lucio in turn. Sneaky Turtle getting one onto Pocket is win. And I mean, now we're just looking at a dead Diva.
Yeah, just last touches, staggered touches from the side of Team Rock here, with the side fight going that way, with the Genji ultimately losing, but taking so much of the attention away from the supports. It's the fight on point that goes the way of Formless. There was a beat invested there from Sneaky Turtle after the mirrored Kitsus, and with the layering of that beat, and Mommy Chicken supports being completely away, zoned by Genji, it's Mommy Chicken who falls first out of the D-Mech, and then it's Team Formless who take that fight. We're on to our next point now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're now looking at the final fight here with Freya setting up on balcony, and Rockets seem to be doing a split push onto their opponents, and the absolute dive with the Lucio and Anubis, managing to get 3 kills between them, even though Sneaky Turtle got Faye. That's going to put Rocket at a big advantage if they're able to capitalize on it properly, with Diva managing to take down Phantom in the end, and Rocket have capped this final point.
That was a really, really nice hit there from Team Rocket. Set up super well, went super deep in, had the coordination with the Diva, with the Lucio hit. And yeah, Team Rocket are in control. And it's Dex now on the Cassidy, not choosing to stick to the frame area as they've been doing so far against this really strong aggression from the side of Team Rocket.
Yeah, absolutely. And Formless showing a bit of Formless deciding to push through the top here. It makes a lot of sense when you've got a Queen, you're able to deal so much damage. And the Queen ultimate will come out trying to find value, managing to get 4 kills in total from that value. And the Diva Bomb, interesting choice. I don't think it's really worked the way they wanted it to, though. It's just stalled the game out.
You've really got to question the remake here, especially off the point it capped. Now Mommy Chicken choosing to reset because they're not going to give them a free reset here. That's essentially a whole other fight, one for free, and there's a lot more point percentage. Got to look out for this double support ult again from the side of Formless. It's going to be mirrored from Team Rocket here. Really got to keep an eye on this blade. That could be the layering revolts that really punches through Rocket's side here.
Now, depending on how Formless play it, if they choose to push up quite far, if they choose to deny angles from their opponents, this could be the last fight of the match.
Yeah, but it's Dex who's caught unawares on the side, isolated, alone, and it's the Tracer Lucio hit squad who come in. We've got a Kitsu on point, but the flip has gone the way of Team Rocket. Absolutely stealing things here. It's Arapaima who falls. We've still got a Genji and the Queen choosing to try and chase things out, still fight this. He do manage to catch Pocket's win, but with 75% and charging now, we're in last fight territory, and Team Rocket are in control right now.
We are now looking towards the opponent's side, coming in now as Team Rocket are 95% of the way there. Formless do really need to touch 99, and they don't! It's so close. It is a hair difference. But that is a one match for Rocket.
He elected for a full regroup, but without the Tracer swap, Dex is too slow. You see that Tyron has to dash in, and it's just a hair's breadth, slightest millimeter off point, can't reach. The boot from Faye keeping them a bit further out, making sure they don't get the touch. Oh my goodness, what a series here, and it does go the way of Team Rocket to a C9 at the very end.
I mean, I don't think that was a C9. They were trying to touch. That could not have been closer. Or at least touching wise. That was honestly incredible. It would have forced so much overtime, and that would have been a many fight. We saw B instantly use that just to engage, but it wasn't quite enough at the end.
I've got to say, I think this really stemmed from that previous fight. You saw Dex taking the high ground on the right side, his team staging for main, but because he's alone on the side, it is Faye, it is the Tracer, it is Paigu who come in, sweep out the Cassidy, catch another person, and get the map flip, get the cap flip. They cap point, and that whole fight is going the way of Team Rocket as Team Formless slowly gets staggered out. They try to get some trades, but it's really not winnable when you're down so many members already. And at the
Yeah.
very end, it's what leads to that to that boop at the end, to the attempted recontest, but unable to reach point in time.
I mean, who are we thinking was the MVP there for Team Rocket in the end?
That is a very tricky one. I think for me, it might have to go the way of Paiku, who's done
Yeah,
fantastic work on the tracer, finding these angles, pressuring out people, getting the map flip or the cap. Not just once on the Cerevoss, got it twice. Stole away the fountain point. That is
yeah.
literally entirely why that whole steal, and that's how they got to their 2-0 lead initially. So I think for me, the performance throughout this map and all the other maps has been fantastic. Really putting in, really clutching up when their team needed it, and getting them the win in the end. So for me, it would be Paiku from the side of Team Rocket.
Yeah, I absolutely have to agree with you. But every player in this lobby played incredibly well. They all had their moments, their crits, and it was such a fun game to watch. And we really saw Team Rocket turn it around there towards the end of the second game. They were able to just coordinate so well. They were able to push up so efficiently and really um, started showing themselves as a threat to Formless. Now, Paiku, 61 eliminations and 8 deaths.
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
Despoten
no,
at
never mind.
861 elims, a nice amount of 3.69 final blows. Maybe not the highest as you usually see. But the thing with Paiku, even if they weren't getting the final blows, even if they weren't there cleaning up everything after the fight, they were an absolute presence in the lobby
Yes.
when it mattered most, really clutching up for the team as best as they could.
Um, it might be important to note this isn't including the last match, but it's including every other game. And, I mean, they did pretty darn well.
Yeah, it sadly does not have the stats from the Suravas at the end, but you can already see just how much work they're putting in, and fantastic
Yeah.
work from Paiku as our MVP from Team Rocket.
And I believe that is us for the day. Thank you for watching. I've been Zeus. This has been Val. And be sure to stay tuned because we're getting pretty close to the uh, playoffs, which is going to be the top 8 teams from the Swiss stage competing. And I'm personally very excited to see how it turns out, what's happening.
Yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll definitely catch you next time.